Imagine discovering something that could have saved you months of stress only after you've already gone through the stress. Classic Germany, right? So in this video, I'll share what 10 years in Germany has really taught me. Couple will definitely surprise you, especially the one at the end. By the way, if you're new here, my name is Essen. I'm a researcher, and on this channel, we discuss how to build wealth in Germany and sometimes just survive it. When we first arrive in Germany, we're all focused on the basics: finding housing, getting a SIM card, maybe setting up internet. And in the excitement, we usually just skim through the contracts, reading the headline, ignoring the fine print, and think, yeah, it'll be fine. But listen carefully. If there's one thing you take away from this video, it's this: never sign a contract in Germany without reading it properly. Seriously, if Germany had a national sport, it wouldn't be football. It would be writing long, complicated contracts. And the problem is, once you sign, you're locked in. Doesn't matter if you misread it or if it was hidden on page 27 in a size 6 font. In Germany, a signature is a signature. But there is a way to get out of contracts, which I'll share in a bit. But let me first give you a common example. You see a flashy ad for the latest iPhone. The deal looks amazing, just 30 euros per month. You sign the contract, happy with yourself. Fast forward 1 year later, and suddenly your bill jumps to 90 euros per month. Surprise! That deal was only for the first 12 months of the 2-year contract. And there's no way out. You're stuck. And it's not just phones. The same thing happens with apartments, internet providers, or even gyms. Break the contract and you're the one in legal trouble, not the company. So what can you do? The golden rule is never sign on the spot. If a salesperson says this is a one-time deal, trust me, that's exactly the deal you don't want. Always take the contract home, read it, or get someone to check it for you before signing. And hey, I wish I was just preaching here, but nope, I fell into this trap myself. Last year, I thought my gym contract had a 1-month cancellation period. Perfect, right? Well, turns out it's not 1 month. It's 12 weeks before the renewal date. Guess what that means? I missed the deadline and I was stuck paying for another entire year. But thankfully, if you sign a new contract, you generally have 14 days to cancel a contract. But when that period starts depends on the type of contract. For a purchase contract, the 14-day cancellation period begins the day after you receive the goods. If the order comes in multiple packages, the period starts the day after the last package arrives. However, for subscriptions, it starts after you receive the first delivery. For service contracts or contracts for utilities like gas and water, the period begins the day after the contract is signed. The seller must also provide you with a cancellation policy, and the cancellation period only begins after you have received this information. So yeah, contracts in Germany come with rules, sub-rules, and then some extra fine print just for fun. And speaking of rules, nothing represents German rules better than insurances. Germany, the land of bread and insurances. If you can think of it, there's probably an insurance for it. Lost your socks? Maybe not yet, but give it time. The social insurance system here stands on 5 pillars: health, nursing care, pension, unemployment, and accident insurance. If you're an employee, student, intern, pensioner, or getting unemployment benefits, congratulations, you're automatically covered. You didn't even have to sign anything. But there's one insurance that isn't mandatory but is more important than some of the mandatory ones. Not having it can cost you thousands of euros. And it's called Privathaftpflichtversicherung, or private liability insurance. Now this might sound boring at first, but trust me, it's the most important insurance in Germany right after health insurance. And more than 40 million people in Germany already have it, even though it's not mandatory. Why? Because in Germany, if you accidentally cause damage, even if it's small, even if it's a total accident, you are fully responsible. That's the law. And the consequences can be brutal. We're not just talking about paying for a broken phone screen. In the worst case, you could lose your house, your savings, even future inheritances or lottery winnings. Basically, everything you own now or whenever. I know several real cases where people's lives were turned upside down just because they didn't have this one insurance. Let me tell you one that stuck with me. Back at university, a girl I knew just wanted to take a bath. She turned on the hot water, but since the building was old, it took forever to warm up. So she left for a couple of minutes to cook. When she came back, the bathtub was overflowing. Water had leaked through the floor and the old building was seriously damaged. It wasn't even even her fault in the sense of being careless. It's something that could happen to anyone. But because she didn't have private liability insurance, she had to pay for all of it. And we're not talking about hundreds of euros, we're talking thousands. She was devastated. But there is good news. You can protect yourself easily. Personal liability insurance usually costs only 2 to 5 euros per month, the price of a coffee, and it covers you against exactly these nightmare scenarios. Honestly, it's the one non-mandatory insurance I would call mandatory for your sanity. I'll leave links to my recommended providers in the description, and seriously, don't skip this one. And while you're there, please hit the like button if you're getting value from this video and consider subscribing. Now let's talk about essentials: shoes, jackets and pillows. I used to think having 12 pairs of shoes was smart. It wasn't. Turns out 2 to 3 really good pairs are better. Same with jackets. Most newcomers buy one heavy jacket. Works in snow, but step inside a shop and you're sweating buckets. That's why layering is smarter. And then there's the pillow situation. The German 80 by 80 pillows. Honestly, they're like mattresses for your head. Back home, I was used to having a stiffer foam pillow, and it was quite difficult to find something compared to that here. Your preference might be different, so make sure you invest some money in a good pillow. I know 40 to 50 euros for a pillow might seem high, but trust me, it's definitely worth it because a good sleep makes a huge difference. As we're talking about investing, let me share how I wasted almost 5 years of compounding returns. I came to Germany in October 2015. I bought my first stock in April 2020. That means I lost 54 months. And when it comes to investing, every month counts. Most foreigners here don't prioritize investing. But the truth is, the stock market is the best wealth building machine humanity has ever created. And it's not that difficult to get the ball rolling. Even if you are a student or unemployed or on spouse visa, you can get started with just €1 per month. Now don't get me wrong, €1 per month won't make you rich. This is just the starting point. And with just €1 per month, there is no excuse you can give. Right now you can only invest 1, 10 or 50 euros per month. But with time, you will be able to invest more. Our goal is to build a habit of investing. It should be something which is done automatically without you even doing anything. I really wish I knew someone who would have said this when I came to Germany. Have an emergency fund of 1 month's expenses as a student, 3 months when you are an employee. Open a commission-free investing account. Set up a savings plan of 1 to 3 diversified ETFs. Don't do stock trading unless you have loads of time. And that's it. If you want a streamlined process, you can get my premium workshop, the Expat Wealth Blueprint, where I share my step-by-step guide to build wealth in Germany, including how to invest in the stock market. But if you're not looking for something premium, I have many videos that can help you get started for free. While we're talking about getting help, did you know that you can get help from the German government? This is something a lot of foreigners in Germany miss, and it's really not our fault because Germans aren't exactly famous for their small talk or giving out helpful tips. Most of the time, they just assume you already know those things because for them, it's common knowledge. But for us, not so obvious. One of the biggest hidden gems is that the German government can actually help you. Yes, even if you're a foreigner, and not just in one area, but in several. Let's talk about the most common one, the German language. If you're moving from a student to a job search visa, this can be a lifesaver. The government will actually fund your language courses to help you land a job. Now, how much they cover depends on your district because, of course, it's Germany. So every district has its own rules. But the key thing is you can get funding. And in those crucial moments when money is tight, saving that cash makes a huge difference. But it doesn't stop there. Ever heard of the Bildungsgutschein? It literally means education voucher. And it's exactly what it sounds like. Free money for your education. With this voucher, you can boost your employment with extra training. Whether that's retraining, a partial qualification, or just adapting your skills to the German job market. Of course, there is a catch. To get this voucher, you need to meet certain requirements. That means sitting down with the German employment agency and having them evaluate your case. But if you qualify, you will get a voucher that's usually time-limited, region-specific, and tied to a specific training goal. Still, if you've lost your job after working here for more than a year, or if you're on a spouse visa and you need to upskill, this can be a game changer. It's basically Germany saying, we'll invest in you, but only if you're you're serious. And the government help doesn't just come in the form of courses and training. There's one more kind of support that hardly anyone talks about. It doesn't just save you money. It can literally put thousands of euros back in your pocket every single year. Because I'm talking about tax optimization. Now, before you roll your eyes or skip this part, hear me out. If you've ever sent money back home to parents, grandparents, or even to support your spouse and kids, the German tax system has a way for you to actually claim some of that money back. With this declaration, you can claim up to 11,000 euros per year. Now, obviously, there are certain conditions you need to fulfill, which I discuss in this video. And in this video, I compare buying, leasing, and financing a car in Germany.